Part 159. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Ixie. Chapter 1581. Chapter 1581. I don't have a girlfriend anyway. That girl looks at you differently. Oh, are you so bored that you even want to study the looks of strangers? Ye Qingfen was not curious about who was paying attention to him. He just packed up the things in front of him and left. Yezhiruo, who was still sitting there, turned around and saw that the girl just also left after Ye Qingfen left, and couldn't help but smile. Boys and girls who are about to reach adulthood are always easily tempted. Zuyu followed Ye Qingfen all the way, but Ye Qingfen had already noticed it. He knew that someone was following him, keeping his eyes on him, but he didn't care. Having made an appointment with her friends to play golf in the afternoon, Ye Qingfen went to the locker room and changed into loose clothes that were convenient for exercise. Still handsome. Qingfen, I missed you by 1 point yesterday, you have to be careful today. Tisk, don't be so confident. In the intense study time of senior year, there are two types of people who can relax. One is those who don't care about their academic performance, and the other is those who are sure to go to college. Ye Qingfen belongs to the latter, and the person who made an appointment with him to play ball is a real sports student. Boys who are good looking and good at sports are always easy to impress. When they lead their teammates on the court, it is always easy to attract the attention of others. In addition to those who simply come to cheer, there are also those who have thoughts about someone on the court. There are many people who have thoughts about Ye Qingfen, but the only one who has had close contact with him is Zuyu. In the past, at this time, Zuyu would have stayed in the classroom chatting with her classmates or doing something that the monitor should take the lead in doing. However, now she only watches the football match for Ye Qingfen. Although I have always known that putting in the basket means scoring, Zuyu just thinks they are very good. Perhaps because I like it, I give that person unlimited points in my heart. Zuyu also wanted to wait for someone to bring them water after they finished the fight, but she had never done this kind of thing before, so she didn't dare to go up. Zuyu's eyes were locked on Ye Qingfen. She found that several people who handed him water did not accept it, except for a girl who looked quiet and gentle. The girl's glossy black hair was draped behind her shoulders, with only a white ribbon as a bow tie. Two words would come to mind to describe it: beautiful. Although she couldn't see her face clearly, Zuyu felt that she must be a good-looking girl. Moreover, Ye Qingfen only accepted the water she handed over, which seemed to have an extraordinary relationship. Zuyu circled around, and just when she was about to see the girl's face clearly, the girl and Ye Qingfen turned around at the same time and blocked her sight. Zuyu, who had nothing to say, said. She just wanted to see what the girl looked like. Why was it so difficult? Zuyu, why are you so cowardly? It's better to be honest and upright. Why are you sneaking around like a thief with a guilty conscience? Zuyu complained silently to herself in her heart. But when she was about to go out to see someone, Ye Qingfen had already left with the girl. Zuyu told Zhu Xing about this. Zhu Xing thought for a while and said, the one you are talking about should be his sister. He has a very good relationship with his twin sister Yezhiruo. I've seen his sister before, although I'm not familiar with her. I'm sure she's not her sister. Then I don't know who you are talking about. Well, sister, don't be too entangled, he doesn't have a girlfriend yet. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Ixie. Chapter 1582. Chapter 1582. He is very gentle. Alas, sad. After Zuyu had such thoughts about Ye Qingfen, she met Ye Qingfen again in the examination room. The examination room in their school is different from many other schools. Many other schools arrange classrooms according to their scores, but their school assigns them randomly by computer. Zuyu and Ye Qingfen had never been together before, but this time they were so destined to be together, at the front and back tables. Zuyu's heartbeat couldn't help but accelerate when she saw Ye Qingfeng. The feeling as if she was about to jump out of her chest was really amazing. But they have exams. Fortunately, the essence of being a top student is still there. Even if he is multitasking, he is still sure of getting the exam questions right. Zuyu put aside those things for the time being and kept immersing herself in the problem. For the first time, I found that I was really fast at completing the questions. I finished it before half the time. Check after finishing. You can't hand in the paper even after the inspection. Zuyu's heart was restless and she couldn't help but look up at the person in front of her. She also found that Ye Qingfeng also had good habits. When sitting, he would not stagger or show other bad habits like other boys. Ye Qingfeng was sitting upright with his back straight, looking very energetic and elegant. It's really, very attractive. When the exam was over, Zuyu almost ran out of the classroom at an escape speed. She could not take a deep breath easily until she was far away from Ye Qingfeng outside. Zhu Xing, who was next door, came out to go to the toilet and saw her. He said hello and heard Zuyu tell him in a surprised tone, "Ye Qingfeng and I are in the same examination room." "Yeah, that's good luck. Also, he is still my front desk. It's fate." Zhu Xing was very cooperative when replying, which made Zuyu feel happy in her heart. However, as his biological brother, Zhu Xing couldn't help but tell her, "Sister, it's all about free love now, but we are all in the critical moment of our senior year in high school, so you can't be distracted by him." "Okay, I understand this. Don't you still believe in your sister's ability? The things in your head will not escape so easily. That'll do. The break is only 20 minutes, and there is the second exam next." Zuyu has prepared for the exam for a long time, but when the exam is approaching, she also wants to read a book to prepare for the exam. She was sketching with a pen, and suddenly she found that the pen in her hand could no longer write. When I turned the pen away and looked at it, I realized that there was no ink in it. Zuyu looked at the front and back, and finally decided to ask the classmates behind for help. "Classmate, can I borrow the extra pens you have?" The classmate at the back table glanced at her and shook his head apologetically, "Sorry, I didn't bring too many pens." "All right." Zuyu looked at Ye Qingfeng's back and wanted to reach out and poke her. Even though Ye Qingfeng didn't look back, he could feel a strong gaze falling on him from behind. While Zuyu was hesitating, Ye Qingfeng turned around unexpectedly. The two of them looked at each other, and Ye Qingfeng asked calmly, "Is something wrong?" "Well, can I borrow the pens you have? I've run out of pens." Ye Qingfeng raised his hand and picked up a pen from the table and put it on Zuyu's table. Zuyu thanked you repeatedly, "Thank you." Holding the pen in her hand, Zuyu's heart moved again. Such a good person is not as alienated as others say, he is really gentle. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1583. Chapter 1583 The Feeling of Heartbeat. Such a gentle and good-looking boy can easily make people's hearts flutter. In fact, she had known Ye Qingfeng for a long time. When she first came to school, the name she heard most was not the name of her classmates, but the name of the campus boss. The big bosses on campus are the twins brother and sister Ye Qingfeng and Yezhiruo. They are both equally outstanding and extremely enviable. However, Zuyu is not the kind of nymphomaniac who just sticks to other people's faces because they look good. When she realized the gap between herself and that legendary figure, she never thought of taking the initiative to get closer. She felt that she wouldn't know how to do it anyway. Being related to such a powerful person, she has been working hard to become the best in her class with peace of mind and become the class president. She would occasionally see Ye Feng, but she never had further contact with him. It happened that night when I was drunk, my casual eyes disturbed my heart. Suddenly, I felt that the three words Ye Feng were very suitable for that person. He did not give people a deliberately gentle feeling, but the wind-like feeling was more charming. Well, that's it. Although it was the first time that she liked someone, Zuyu felt that this feeling was not bad. After the second exam, it was time to let out for lunch. After Zuyu handed in the papers, she found that there was no one in Ye Feng's seat. She quickly packed up her stationery and chased after him. She ran to Ye Feng and shouted to him to stop. "Wait, your pen." Zuyu handed over the pen in her hand and thanked her repeatedly. "Thank you very much this time." "Thank you very much." "You're welcome." Ye Feng also readily took over the pen. He started to take steps to leave again. Zuyu rubbed her fingers for a long time but couldn't help but run to catch up. Ye Feng stopped and looked at her doubtfully and asked, "Is there anything else?" Zuyu shook her head and nodded hurriedly. "What's the matter?" Ye Feng asked. Zuyu opened her mouth to say a reason, but the last thing she blurted out was a question. "Ye Feng, do you still remember me?" "Well, Zhu Xing's sister Zuyu." Hearing him reveal his identity without hesitation, Zuyu was pleasantly surprised. "Yes, it's me." "Then what?" "Then I just want to thank you very much." Zuyu seemed to be afraid that Ye Feng would leave just like that. She poured out all the words she could think of. "I just want to thank you very much. If I didn't have you last time, I might be taken home by my parents. Zhu Xing told me that you carried me to your house to rest last time. I have always wanted to find a chance to say thank you in person. You are Zhu Xing's sister, no need." Ye Feng was very calm, and the identity she gave Zuyu was just that of Zhu Xing's sister. However, Ye Feng's distant and polite behavior was interpreted by Zuyu as abstinence, which made it even more attractive. But she really couldn't think of any topic to continue talking to Ye Feng. Zhu Xing told her not to act too anxious, otherwise it would be counterproductive. Zuyu kept that sentence in mind, thinking that Ye Feng would not agree to anything, so she resisted the idea of inviting him to dinner. "Well, then it's okay, you can go first." Zuyu stepped back to make way for Ye Feng. Ye Feng walked straight forward. About 10 meters away, he looked back for some reason and found that Zuyu was still standing there with her head bowed, not knowing what she was thinking. "It's just that this girl is a little different from others. At least she gave Ye Feng a unique understanding of her." End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1584. Chapter 1584, Go Pick Up Beiji. On the second day of the monthly exam, that is, after the last exam, Zuyu saw the girl with a unique temperament again. She still has long hair that hangs over her shoulders, but today she changed it to a more exquisite hairpin, which is simple and beautiful. Zuyu saw the girl standing outside the examination room. Because the girl had her back to the door, Zuyu still couldn't see the girl clearly. So Zuyu paid close attention to Ye Feng when she handed in the test paper. Sure enough, she saw Ye Feng walking out and standing with the girl after handing in the test paper. Zuyu couldn't help but guess, is that girl the one Ye Feng likes? Is she already a secret girlfriend? Zuyu is a little worried. But she still followed without hesitation, holding her notebook and pen. Because she was afraid of being discovered, Zuyu walked far behind them. She couldn't hear the voices of the two people and couldn't see their faces. She only knew that Ye Feng and the girl looked harmonious when they walked together. There seems to be a unique feeling about that girl that makes people feel very comfortable just looking at her. Who is that person? Zuyu once again missed the truth. The main reason is because I am too cowardly. After the exam, after grade teachers worked overtime to change the test papers, the results of each subject came out one after another, and the grade rankings gradually became clear. Ye Qingfen lived up to expectations and won the first place, followed closely by Yezhiruo. Others in the school are extremely envious and say that twins have good genetics. As for the third place, Zuyu was actually on the list, which even she couldn't believe. Zuyu's grades have been consistently in the top 10 since her freshman year of high school, but she has never been in the top 3. However, things started to change after she met Ye Qingfen. She actually got third place. Zuyu was extremely happy because she and Ye Qingfen were one step closer. Winning third place for the first time, this feeling is really not too refreshing. And every time the top 3 will get extra rewards, this time they get 3 pens of the same style. Ye Qingfen didn't care about the color, but Yezhiruo generously gave the opportunity to Zuyu. Classmate, you choose first. This time Zuyu has simply added 10 points to Yezhiruo's impression. Not only is the elder brother so outstanding, but also the twin sisters are so lovable. But as the third placer, she still had to be reserved. I don't care if it's a nice thing, but you guys should take it first. It's okay. Yezhiruo shook his head with a smile. Zuyu picked a black one. Because there were 2 black ones, she even expected the reward to be the same as Ye Qingfeng's reward. Then I'll take this, thank you. Zuyu held the black pen and waited for the choice of Ye Qingfen and Yezhiruo. If Yeji takes the white one, naturally the remaining black one belongs to Ye Qingfen. Wish you a little happiness in the moon. The 3 of them left the office together. It was already time for school to end in the afternoon. They had evening self-study later, but Ye Qingfeng said he was leaving before he even returned to the classroom. Ruruo, I'll leave first. Yeji nodded. Zuyu asked doubtfully, aren't you going to have evening self-study soon? Yezhiruo smiled slightly and said, brother has already asked for leave from the teacher. He has something to do. After Ye Qingfen left school, he went directly to another elementary school because he had to pick someone up from get out of class. Beijiu is a loli who is in elementary school. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1585. Chapter 1585. Ye Qingfen is a straight man. Yuan Ran and Beiye have to go out on business. MRSU has a cold these days and it is inconvenient to take care of Beijiu, so they have temporarily entrusted Beijiu to Ye Yowei to take care of her for 2 days. Ye Wei readily agreed, turned around and handed over this important task to his son Ye Qingfen. Ye Qingfen naturally had no reason to shirk. He doesn't often go to Beijiu's school, but everyone knows that Beijiu has a very good-looking brother, and they all envy her. Jiu, is that your brother standing at the door? Children's memories are actually very good. They can recognize them at a glance even if they are 10 days and a half month apart. After all, there are not many people who are so good-looking. Wow, your brother came to pick you up from school again. You are so happy. Children aged 8 or 9 are still very simple-minded. Beijiu packed up her books and stuffed them into her school bag. When she reached the door, Ye Qingfen naturally took the school bag from her hand and put it on her shoulder, holding the little girl with her other hand. Go to my house today, do you know? I know, Mom and Dad have told me. But I have to go back to school for evening study later. Is it okay for you to play alone at home? Well, Brother Feng can come back from school early. Although Beijiu usually pestered Ye Qingfen, she would not mess around with some serious matters. Knowing that Ye Qingfen went back to school for evening self-study because of study, she let him go generously. Ye Qingfen touched her head happily and said, "You is so good." Beijiu did not let things go as before, but instead said, "Brother Feng, you messed up my hair. What kind of hairstyle does a child need? Brother Feng, do you want to be a straight man? Who taught you the new words? It's what people say on TV. Brother Feng, if you don't understand girls, You are a straight man. Ye Qingfeng said oh after hearing this, and suddenly turned around and picked up the person next to him and lifted him up. Doesn't this count as a straight man? Wow, that's fun. I'm still a kid, I just know how to play. The process of Ye Qingfeng taking Beijiyu home was very relaxing and enjoyable. After taking Beijiyu back to Ye's house, she left her in Ye Weiwei's care. Ye Qingfeng rushed back to school for self-study, but because he was a little late when he entered the classroom, he bumped into Zuyu in the corridor. Hey, Zuyu called him, hey, why are you at school? Didn't your sister say you asked for leave? The things are done, come back to class. The evening self-study in the senior high school is either review or exam. Ye Qingfeng just came back to take the weekly exam. Beijiyu made two oohs and ahs and raised the white paper in his hand. Our class just missed 2 papers. I went to your class to find more papers. I don't know if your class left one for you. It doesn't matter. If you miss the test paper, just tell me and I'll look for it. It's okay, thank you. Ye Qingfeng declined Zuyu's offer. The two passed each other and walked into their respective classes. Zuyu couldn't help but smile when she thought of the unexpected encounter in the corridor just now. Ye Qingfeng was still so polite and gave her a touch of tenderness. Perhaps Zuyu was worried, or perhaps Zuyu wanted to take another look at that person, so she went to Ye Qingfeng's class to ask if she had any bad test papers. It's a pity that Ye Qingfeng has test papers. Zuyu only saw the profile of a man with his head lowered and writing, and did not meet his gaze. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1586. Chapter 1586 I'll give you chocolate. Papers are given out. Yours, 103. Night Breeze, 150. While others looked at him with envy, he himself remained very calm. Performing different types of test questions every day, studying in the 3rd year of high school is boring. But the senior year of high school is very heavy with academic work, and even natural academic masters like Ye Qingfeng and Yezhiruo dare not slack off. Because they have been instilled in them by Yezikin since they were young, never take anything lightly. Even if you do well in normal times, you must be careful not to let things slip at critical moments. Brother, I am 145 this time. Yezhiruo placed the math test paper in front of Ye Qingfeng, and she deducted 2 points for the last proposition. Tisk Ye Qingfeng picked up her paper and took a look. The idea of the process was correct, but the final result was wrong. The grading teacher was extremely strict and deducted 5 points from her. It was also a reminder to her to pay attention in future exams. Ruruo, you have lost to me twice in a row. It only takes 3, I will definitely win it back next time. There are only 2 people in our grade who got full marks this time. One is Ye Qingfeng from our class, and the other is Zuyu, the monitor of the next class. They are quite impressive. Oh Zuyu, when Yezhiruo mentioned this name, she still had an impression. The girl who was in the top 3 with them before was called Zuyu. Zuyu's results have always been good, but she has almost never been in the top 3. You must know that in people's memory thinking, the first place is to be firmly remembered. The first 3 are somewhat familiar, and the following places will be habitually ignored by people. But this time Zuyu showed up in front of the 2 brothers Ye Qingfeng and Yezhiruo. Moreover, Yezhiruo discovered that the frequency of encounters with Zuyu had increased a lot recently, and Ye Qingfeng was present every time. According to usual experience, Yezhiruo quickly guessed the reason, but she did not say it. As soon as she finished her morning self-study, Yezhiruo threw a thick book in front of Ye Qingfeng. Brother, it's my duty today. I don't have time. This book belongs to you. Please help me bring it to her. Good. Ye Qingfeng got up and went to deliver the book after getting it. Zhu Yu happened to come out of the classroom and saw Ye Qingfeng. She was about to shout but found him turning down the stairs. Zhu Yu happened to be going downstairs, so she followed him, but after going downstairs, Ye Qingfeng walked straight away, apparently looking for someone. Zhu Yu was a little curious and followed her footsteps involuntarily. She saw Ye Qingfeng standing outside the classroom of the second grade of high school, and there was still a girl standing next to her. He only saw the side profile, but Zhu Yu was very sure that the girl was the one she had seen a few times before, although her identity was still unknown. Who is it? She must see it today. Zhu Yu stood there and deliberately covered herself up. Ye Qingfeng returned the book to Nangongyu, and Nangongyu also handed him a box of chocolates. 2 days ago, my mommy started researching on making chocolates on a whim and got addicted to it. She even asked me to give it to you to try. Oh, is your godmother very free recently? Ha Nangongyu pursed his lips and smiled. This is mommy's latest interest. It is still in the excitement stage for the time being. I guess she will send it directly to your home. Okay, I'll take it back to them. Ye Qingfeng accepted it unceremoniously. In the eyes of others, this scene was like the male accepted a gift from a girl. Zhu Yu's eyes widened. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1587. Chapter 1587 Jealousy. Zhu Xing told her that Ye Qingfeng hardly interacted with people of the opposite except her sister, but who was this she saw? From delivering water to giving gifts, this time Ye Qingfeng took the initiative to find me. Ah, Zhu Yu was roaring in her heart. Is there already no hope before she even takes action? Zhu Yu was heartbroken, but the two people in front of her were still unaware of it. I heard that Yu has been at your house these 2 days. I remember that Yu likes chocolate. She can solve these things for you. Can't eat the moon. What's wrong? She is changing her teeth. If you give her these things, she will definitely not be taboo. Brother Qingfeng, don't be too strict with Yu. That girl, everyone spoils her. Ye Qingfeng always cares about Beiji Yu every time. He talks about education, but every time he does something, people shake their heads. When it comes to favors, apart from Beiji Yu's parents, Ye Qingfeng is definitely the #1 person. Okay, anyway, the task is completed. When I deliver the things, these chocolates are given to you. You can make your own decisions. Well, come in quickly. Okay, Brother Qingfeng, please go back to the classroom quickly. Thank you for sending this book back. Nangongyu waved to Ye Qingfeng and turned back to the classroom. Zhu Yu finally saw Nangongyu's appearance clearly. She remembered. This delicate-looking girl is also Nangongyu, who is relatively famous in their school. That girl with such a temperament and her childhood sweetheart Ye Qingfeng, this kind of relationship has greatly disappointed her. She really felt a little jealous in her heart. Zhu Yu wanted to chase someone but couldn't find a suitable opportunity. Zhu Xing shook his head and couldn't help but asked, how about I help you? Okay. When Zhu Yu heard this, she grabbed Zhu Xing's hand tightly, her eyes filled with anticipation. Zhu Xing regretted it at that time. He really wanted to take back what he just said. Sister, we're already in our senior year of high school now. Why don't we wait until we all take the college entrance examination before we talk about this? There's still half a year left, and it will be too late by then. Zhu Yu couldn't wait, and she heard Zhu Xing's worries, so she assured him, don't worry, I will definitely not fall behind in my studies. Zhu Xing had to find a reason to get close to Ye Qingfeng. But Zhu Xing can't play basketball, and he can't basically play the sports that boys like. He can only rely on his brain to communicate with Ye Qingfeng. Zhu Xing thought about it a lot and found a game to compete with Ye Qingfeng in terms of intelligence. We haven't competed for a long time, right? Why not use this to compete once? Zhu Xing knew that Ye Qingfen liked to play games, not like an internet-addicted teenager, but liked to compete. Ye Qingfen knew that Zhu Xing came to challenge him and did not refuse. But when he asked what the game was and looked at the game displayed by Zhu Xing, Ye Qingfen shook his head and said, "I passed this last week." Clearance. Zhu Xing was shocked when he heard this. This game was just updated last week. Looking at Zhu Xing's unquestionable eyes, Ye Qingfen nodded again, "Yeah." Zhu Yu's hand holding the phone is shaking. This game was only updated last week, and Ye Qingfen had already completed it at that time. What else was he challenging? "You still want to compete with me?" "No, no, no, let's change it." "Oh. Qingfen, you are very good at playing, why don't you teach me a lesson?" "You sure?" An opportunity must be created. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1588. Chapter 1588, Secret Love. Probably because he has been relatively free recently, Ye Qingfen readily agreed to teach Zhu Xing how to play basketball. Zhu Yu couldn't wait to encourage her younger brother to help and directly postpone the teaching time to today. That night Qingfen and Zhu Xing came to the basketball court. Zhu Yu had been waiting there early, with clean towels, mineral water and other spare items ready nearby. Ye Qingfen only glanced at Zhu Yu when he entered the venue. He didn't say much, but Zhu Xing greeted his sister, and Zhu Yu waved in response, but her eyes couldn't help but drift to Ye Qingfen. Zhu Xing, who knew the reason, couldn't help laughing. "Okay, let's get started." Ye Qingfen didn't like to waste time. He entered the basketball court with the ball and quickly got into the mood. I have to say that Ye Qingfen is a very good teacher. The first is the explanation of knowledge and skills, and the second is the personal demonstration, and the detailed teaching is in place. Unfortunately, Zhu Xing is really not a basketball player, let alone whether he can master the skills. He said he was tired before even trying twice, and sat down regardless of his image. "Rest on the ground." Zhu Yu, who was sitting in the audience, stared at him with a look of hatred, and Zhu Xing curled his lips helplessly. It was the athlete from the nearby basketball team who invited Ye Qingfen. Ye Qingfen asked Zhu Xing with his eyes, and Zhu Xing nodded quickly, "Brother, please, please, don't worry about me, I really have no strength, I need to take a rest." Zhu Xing panted and walked towards the auditorium. At the same time, Zhu Xing also walked towards him and handed him the towel and water in his hand. "Zhu Xing, you are so useless. You promised to help me create opportunities. You can't blame me, you don't know. I haven't been interested in sports since I was a child. This is where smart people come from." Zhu Xing pointed to his head. Zhu Yu sighed, patted his shoulder and comforted him, saying, "Thank you for your hard work. Even though they are not teaching basketball, as long as there is such a reason for Zhu Yu and Ye Qingfen to meet, it will be done." When Ye Qingfen took a halftime break, Zhu Yu was the first to rush to him, and in the name of his younger brother, he handed the things he had prepared to Ye Qingfen as a thank you. Ye Qingfen was really thirsty, so he took the water from Zhu Yu and unscrewed the bottle cap neatly. Zhu Yu stared intently at Ye Qingfen's movements, thinking that he was about to drink the water handed out by her own hand. Her heartbeat accelerated, and she was a little nervous. Just when Ye Qingfen raised the bottle and brought it about 5 centimeters to his mouth, a shout came from not far away. Ye Qingfen's movements on his hands suddenly stopped. The two of them looked back at the same time and saw Nangongyu trotting towards them in a hurry. The girl who usually embodies the etiquette in every move rarely behaves like this. Nangongyu grabbed Ye Qingfen's wrist as soon as he arrived. Zhu Yu, who has sharp eyes, saw her natural movements, and her eyes were so sharp that they turned into needles. Nangongyu stepped forward and said something in Ye Qingfen's ear. Ye Qingfen frowned slightly and showed a different emotion inadvertently. Before Zuyu could react, Ye Qingfeng had already put the water bottle back into Zuyu's hand and apologized to her. "Sorry, please tell Zhu Xing that I have something to deal with, so I'm leaving first." Just saying those words, before Zuyu came to persuade her to stay, Ye Qingfeng and Nangongyu had already gone a long way. Zhu Xing rushed over and asked with a confused look on his face. Zuyu looked down at the opened bottle of water in her hand, feeling numb. Obviously it's just that little bit worse. What is his relationship with that Nangongyu? I am sorry that the update has been suspended for a long time due to some private matters in the author's family that are inconvenient to disclose, and they have been dealt with now. This book will continue to be updated and will not be unfinished, so please rest assured. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1589. Chapter 1589. It's all the fault of stealing. The relationship between Ye Qingfeng and Nangongyu is not simple. 99 out of 10 people in the school know that they are childhood sweethearts who grew up together and have a very close relationship. Sister, don't be distracted. You haven't told me what happened yet. Zhu Xing pushed Zuyu and shook her to wake up. The water in Zuyu's hand that had been opened spilled a little, and it was ice cold when it reached her fingertips. Zuyu walked back dejectedly. I wish I knew something. No, Zhu Xing was really confused. I finally created the opportunity for you, how come everyone is gone in the blink of an eye? I don't know either. That Nangongyu took Ye Qingfeng away as soon as he came. I couldn't even deliver the water. Alright. Hearing the gradual disappointment in Zuyu's tone, Zhu Xing didn't want to ask further questions, so he just skipped the matter. In fact, Ye Qingfeng left because something terrible happened. Beijiu is hospitalized. The reason is gluttony. Last time, Gong Qinli made a lot of chocolates because she was doing research on a whim, and she gave one to each house without any preference. The portion sent to Bei's family was received by the family's servant and could not be given to Beijiu to eat, but it was not easy to just throw away the owner's things, so he kept them at home for the time being. Because the box was exquisitely packaged, Beijiu happened to find it. She knew that her family did not allow her to eat it, but she couldn't resist her greed and ate some secretly. There was nothing wrong with me at home, but I started complaining of stomachache as soon as I came to study. My teachers and classmates were so anxious that they rushed me to the hospital. Because I usually pay too much attention to the food I eat, I can't stand eating some spoiled food. Beijiu couldn't stand the little pain and had cried several times in the hospital, crying for mommy and daddy, and calling for brother Qingfeng. Beiya and Yuan Ran were on their way to the hospital, but Ye Qingfeng's cell phone calls went unanswered. Fortunately, Ye Qingfeng was well known in school, so Nangongyu easily knew where he was and successfully found him on the basketball court. The two of them hurried to the hospital. By this time, a group of people had gathered around the door of the ward. Especially Gong Qinli felt guilty and regretted sending the chocolate to the Bei family, causing the little child to suffer. The considerate Nangongyu gently hugged his mother to comfort him. Mommy, don't blame yourself, you didn't mean it. Ye Qingfeng passed through the crowd and saw that the quilt on the hospital bed had been wrapped into a ball. Beijiu was rolling around holding the quilt, and no one was allowed to approach. Ye Qingfeng went around and pulled Beijiu's little hand out of the quilt. When he looked up, he saw her face that was covered in red. You can do so much even when you are sick, only this difficult little guy can do it. As soon as Beijiu saw the visitor, she seemed to have finally found her backbone. She rushed over desperately and hugged him tightly, wiping her tears directly on his shoulders. Stomachache. You know it hurts, but you still don't let the doctor see you. Beijiu cried and said 4 words, the injection also hurts. She has rejected doctors since she was a child and feels pain when looking at the doctor. Yet Xingfeng sighed helplessly and distressedly, coaxing Beijiu to cooperate with the treatment like a little ancestor, but regretted it when he saw the needle. It was Kitano and Yuan Ran who came over, and the three of them worked together to allow the doctor's treatment to proceed smoothly. Do you still dare to steal food in the future? I was wrong. Dare you do it again in the future? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1590. Chapter 1590 Peach Blossoms Bloom. Fortunately, tomorrow is the weekend. Beijiu returns home to recuperate. Of course, the brothers and sisters here have to visit. Mo Xiongnuan volunteered to go to the kitchen to make a nutritious meal for his little sister, while Yezhiruo and Nangongyu stayed in Beijiu's room, eating melon seeds and chatting about school. You said that my brother has such a face, and even though he had a lot of peach blossoms, he didn't even pick a single one. What a waste, tisk tisk. Are you talking about the girl named Zuyu? You know it too. Nangongyu nodded. I saw brother Qingfeng several times. That Zuyu's presence is not low. Although Nangongyu has not met her head-on, he has seen her a few times and paid attention to her. Yezhiruo couldn't deny it. Yes, that girl frequently appears next to my brother. Although she doesn't say anything, her thoughts are revealed through her eyes, which is a bit interesting. Nangongyu saw the full interest in her eyes and couldn't help joking, Sister Ruo, your eyes are like seeing a new game competition. Because this time is different. My brother has a special impression of that girl. Why? I don't know the specific reason, maybe it's the telepathy between brother and sister. Anyway, I have a hunch that something will definitely happen between my brother and that girl. Nangongyu blinked and did not answer. What can happen between men and women of the same age who are not related? It's nothing more than falling in love. Yeji nodded thoughtfully. Beijiu suddenly came up from behind and patted them both on the shoulders, interrupting the two gossiping. Why are you up? Didn't I tell you to lie down on the bed and rest? Yezhiruo worriedly held Beijiu's hand to pull her back. Beijiu didn't know where her feet were standing, so she raised her head and asked, Sister Ruo, Sister Yu, what will happen between Brother Feng and that girl? Retelling what they said, even a person as smart as Beijiu would not know how to explain the matter of falling in love to a little who is under 10 years old. Those things are not important. The most important thing now is that you need to have a good rest. But I want to know this problem. If sister can't answer, what about Sister Yu? Nangongyu, who had just planned to reduce her presence, was also named, and she had to stand up. I don't have an answer to this question yet. At any rate, those words weren't what she said, and she really didn't want to get involved. Beijiu has a unique possessiveness towards Ye Qingfeng. She can't explain that feeling. If she makes the first explanation to Beijiu, then the problems one after another will add up. It's scary just thinking about it. Seeing that the two eldest sisters were unwilling to help her answer her doubts, Beijiu thought for a while and said to herself, then I will ask Brother Feng myself. Little hands came out of Yezhiruo's palms, and as soon as her little feet took a step, she felt someone behind her holding her collar. Yezhiruo took a step forward and fished Beijiu back, blocking the way forward. Xiaoyuer, what we are talking about is that my brother recently met a girl, maybe they will become new friends, that's all. New friends? Beijiu asked subconsciously, is there no one to play with Brother Feng? That's not true, but the more friends the better. Don't want. End of this chapter.